In this video, we will learn how to use our first design file in Figma, including how to use frames, how to add professional colors to our design elements, how to use a stroke to highlight any element, and finally, how to access Figma shortcuts to speed up our workflow. Hi, I'm Abdurrahman, a UI/UX designer, and welcome to my Figma Crash Course 2026. Before we start, if you want to take a quick overview of the Figma homepage, watch this video at the top. Now let's get started. First, to open a new design file, click on Design, or you can click on this plus icon and select Design. At the beginning, you should know that there are 4 main sections in the Figma interface. The first section is Canvas. This is where we place all our design elements such as frames, buttons, icons, images, etc. On the left side, we have Navigation panel. This panel helps us navigate easily through the pages of our design file. To create a new page, click on the plus icon here. Using multiple pages helps us organize our design file better. For example, if we are designing a website for desktop, tablet, and mobile, we can create 3 pages. Name the first page Desktop, the second page Tablet, and the third page Mobile. This way, our design file stays clear, organized, and easy to understand. Keep in mind that every design file contains 2 main sections, Pages section and Layers section. Everything we place on canvas is considered a layer. For example, if I create a frame, this frame will appear in the Layers section as you can see here. Also remember that each page has its own canvas. To rename your design file, click on Untitled at the top and type your file name. Below the file name, you will find the project name. If I click on this arrow icon here, I'll see different options such as Show Version History, Export, Add to Sidebar, Create Branch, etc. I am not going to discuss these options right now because they are not important at this stage. If I click on Figma icon, I can access the file settings. Here we have options like File, Edit, View, Object, etc. I am also not going to discuss these options in this video. Next, let's talk about Assets. In the Assets panel, we can find reusable components that we have created in this file, such as buttons, icons, cards, etc. If you don't know what components are or how they work, don't worry, I'll explain everything about components in another video. By default, we have 3 component libraries and they are completely free: iOS and iPadOS 26 UI Kit, Material 3 Design Kit, and Simple Design System. If you already have your own component library and want to add it to your design file, click on Add More Libraries, and then you can add your custom library. Next, we have Toolbar, which contains all the design tools we need to create our designs. Here you can find tools such as Move Tool, Hand Tool, Scale, Frame, Slice, and different shapes we use most of the time. You can also upload images or videos if you need to. In addition, we have Pen Tool, Text Tool, Comment, Actions, Draw, and finally, Div Mode. The last section we're going to talk about is Properties panel. From here, we can edit the properties of any design element we add to canvas. However, when nothing is added or selected on canvas, we can only change canvas color, increase or decrease its opacity, or hide canvas color by clicking on this eye icon here. We can also see our styles such as text styles, color styles, effects, and layout guides to see all the properties we need to add a design element to canvas. For example, let's add a frame to canvas. To do this, select Frame tool from Toolbar or press F key on your keyboard. Here you will find frames for phone, tablet, desktop, etc. Inside each category, there are different device types. For example, in the phone section, we have frames for Android, iPhone 16, iPhone 16 Pro, and others. Now we can select one of these frames. I'll select iPhone 16. Once we add this frame to canvas, all of its properties appear immediately. You can also create a custom frame. To do this, select Frame tool from Toolbar. Go to any empty space on canvas, then click and drag. And here is your custom frame. To change this frame to another frame type, click on Frame, then select the frame you want from the options. It's important to know that we use frames as containers for our design content, such as text, colors, icons, images, and more. Frames also work like artboards, helping us organize and structure our design elements properly. If you want to move around the canvas, there are several ways to do that. You can select Hand tool from Toolbar, press H key on your keyboard, or hold Space key, then click and drag. If you want to zoom in or zoom out for better visibility, hold Ctrl key on Windows or Command key on Mac and scroll with your mouse. You can also click on this percentage here to see more zoom options, such as zoom in, zoom out, zoom to fit, and more. Now let's move on to Properties panel to see how we can modify our frame properties. First, we have the Position properties, which include alignment, position, and rotation. The alignment options are locked for now because they are related to the design elements inside the frame, not the frame itself. To unlock these options, we need to add a design element to the frame. For example, let's draw a rectangle inside our frame. Now we can apply these properties to this rectangle. We can align it horizontally to the left, center, or right, and vertically to the top, center, or bottom. After that, we can change the X and Y position of the frame, or any design element inside the frame as you can see here. We can also change the rotation angle and use these flip options as you like. Next, we can change the dimensions of our frame, such as the width and height. There are different ways to do this. We can enter the width and height values manually. Another option is to hover over the width or height value until the cursor changes, then click and drag. We can also resize the frame by dragging any side. And if we want to change the width and the height together, we can drag from any corner. But here is one problem. The ratio between the width and the height is not consistent. To fix this, we need to lock the aspect ratio or simply hold the Shift key while dragging. Now let's talk about appearance properties. First, we can hide the frame by clicking on this eye icon. Next, we have opacity. To understand how opacity works, let's draw another rectangle on the top of the first one and change its color. Now when we reduce the opacity, you will notice that the rectangle becomes more transparent. The lower the opacity, the more you can see what's behind it. After that, we can change the corners of our frame from sharp to rounded using the corner radius. We can also customize the corner radius by clicking on this icon. This allows us to enter different values for each corner if we want. Finally, we can adjust the corner smoothing from this icon to control how smooth the corners look. After that, we can add fill to this frame. We can change the color and also increase or decrease its opacity. We can also pick a color directly from canvas using this icon. To undo any action, just press Ctrl Z on the keyboard. If we want a specific color, we can enter a color code such as hex code, RGB, CSS, HSL, or HSB, and all the colors we use on this page will appear here, so you can reuse them easily. If you want to add more than one color to your design element and make it look more beautiful and professional, you need to use a gradient. To do that, click on Gradient. Now you can do several things. You can change the gradient position, choose different colors, and add as many colors as you like. You can also flip the gradient or rotate it. In addition, you can change the gradient type from linear to radial, angular, or diamond. In most cases, we use linear gradient because it's the most popular and commonly used option. Next, if you want to add an image as a background for your frame, click on Image. Then upload an image from your computer. After that, click on Fill. You will see different options here. We have Fit, which makes the image fit inside the frame, and the Crop, which allows you to crop a specific part of the image. You can also use this icon to rotate the image. Below, we have more image editing options. We can adjust the exposure, contrast, saturation, temperature, tint, highlights, and shadows. Finally, you can add a video as a background. However, to use this feature, you need to upgrade to the professional plan. In this course, we will work with the free plan because it's more beginner friendly. After that, let's talk about stroke. We use a stroke to highlight any design element. For example, if we have multiple frames and we want to highlight one of them, we can add a stroke to this frame. At first, we might not see the stroke. To fix this, we need to increase the stroke weight. Now the stroke becomes visible. We can also change the stroke color as we like. Next, we can change the stroke position. We can set it to center, inside or outside the design element. But what if we want to apply the stroke to only one side? No problem. Click on this icon. Then choose the side you want. Top, bottom, left side, or right side. We can also customize the stroke by entering different values for each side at the same time. There are also more advanced stroke settings. To access them, click on this icon. We have three types of stroke: basic, dynamic, and brush. Let's start with basic. We can change width, profile, modify join, and change style from solid to dash. In dash style, we can increase or decrease dash value, use square dash cap, or rounded dash cap. Next, we have dynamic stroke. Here we can control values like frequency, wiggle, and smoother. Finally, we have brush stroke, where we can change brush type and direction. The last thing we're gonna talk about is shortcuts. Shortcuts help us work faster and save a significant amount of time and effort. To learn keyboard shortcuts in Figma, click on this question icon. Then you will find different options here. Click on keyboard shortcuts. From here you can find any shortcuts in Figma, such as shortcuts for tools, view, zoom, text, etc. That's it for this video. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like the video, leave a comment, subscribe for more content, and share this video with others so they can benefit too. If you'd like to connect with me, you will find all my contact information in the description below. Feel free to reach out anytime. See you in the next video.